YouTube family, what's up, man? You know what I mean? I want to thank all of y'all for sticking around through this long journey of Lifeswildtv. You know, I had my ups and downs trying to figure it out, the ins and out. You know what I mean? We finally got all the equipment we need. We gonna start doing some reaction videos. We gonna still drop documentaries. You know what I'm saying? We introducing another web type podcast thing where me and my other two homies we're gonna be talking about current events. So we're gonna be trying to drop those at least 2-3 times a week. You know what I mean? You're gonna get reaction videos almost every day. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to definitely get an organic fan base. You know what I mean? People that subscribe that come here every day. You know what I mean? That actually wanna know what's going on with our channel, with Lifeswild TV channel, you know what I'm saying, and everything we got going on. So definitely, if you like the video, please share the content. Please hit the subscribe button. You already know, hit the like button, get us in the algorithm, and so forth and so forth. Today we watching a reaction video on Charmaine Rattlins and her daughter that basically was unalive in Jamaica, and the ramifications around that whole case and the gang and so forth and so forth. You know what I mean? So y'all tune in with me to Lifeswild TV.
People, welcome back to Politics Watch. This is Sir P. Now today I'm going to talk about the infamous case where Charmaine Rattray and her daughter Joette Lynch, aka Crystal, lost their life in a manner that shocked the entire nation. Even Jamaica, a country that is used.
Before I go on, you know what I mean? Sir P is a very controversial channel. You know what I mean? He a disguised dude that, you don't never see his face. You don't never see his face. You know what I mean? Because due to the controversy that he talk about, and so forth and so forth, and he called himself, yo, man, the biggest informer and all them type of things, you know what I mean? But whatever the case is, that's not my situation. I'm just here to report certain stories, reactions to certain stories, you know what I mean? And deliver it to my audience, you know what I'm saying? Because most people that watch that is probably Yardy people, you know what I mean? And we got enough, I'm from Brooklyn, we got enough American people, you know what I'm saying? People from all over the world that be tuning in, that want to know what's up. So I'm going to tune in some of the things I watch with y'all, you know what I mean? And if y'all want to watch something, send it in, and you know what I'm saying? I can go over it, whoop, 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 and I can react to it also.
Seeing all kind of things, this one really stood out, right? Now, if you would have heard the video I did yesterday about the youth named Scott Thomas, if you haven't, you need to check it out, because that is the build-up that leads into this one. So I'm not going to go back over who Scott Thomas was, but what I'm going to do is give you the finishing part of that video and then lead into how the mother and her daughter came to a gruesome end. See, the scene is Lariston, July 2011. By now, Lariston had become a complete nightmare for most people. Believe it or not, it used to be a quiet place until James Hines and them Monday turned the place upside down. By the way, people, if you have a picture of James Hines, please send it to me, because I'm going to do a video on that youth. That youth was like the Jamaican version of Freddy Krueger, right?
Did a video on James Hines too. Y'all could go peep that joint. They consider him Jamaica Freddy Krueger. Different. You hear me? That boy was different. Matter of fact, he taught all the rest of the so-called bad man them how to behead people. You feel me? And unalive them in the worst way. You know what I'm saying? So y'all go peep that. And he definitely, I got that story from this channel right here. Shout out to Politics Watch, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to react to that later too, so y'all can see that one.
Where him come from, right? Now, people, as I said, July 2011, Scott Thomas, the 18-year-old in Clans, had over 30 bodies to his name, according to the police. He bragged that he tripled his age in murders before his 18th birthday. See, you have to understand, Klansmen are what them call the system. It's how they make money, how them it involves the extortion business, how they distribute weapons, how they discipline people. They call it the system. In the system, over Lariston's side, Once James Hines and them money gone, it was really Crab, Scott, and man like Sci-Fi who were the people who were really running the place. But think of Crab as out of that group, Crab you could say is the leader, right? Crab was a youth who, well, his name, to be honest, he has the perfect name, Real Crab in a Barrel. See, they were making a lot of money because them used to have a style where anytime you build a house over that side, they would tell you, say, you can only provide like 3 or 4 workers. So you might say, you know what, all right, you give them your 2 mason man and your 1 carpenter, and then they would provide the rest of the workers. They will tell you, say, you can only bring certain amount of man.
Extortion.
Clansman would then provide the other workers, and then you would have to pay a clansman, and clansman would then pay the workers. That's one of the ways how the system made a whole heap of money. But Scott Thomas, even though he was just a boy, he was only 18 years old. By now, he was actually playing a role in collecting the money, sending the money up the system. And a part of that job meant that he had to deal with Crab on a regular basis, right? Them 2 of them really used to really make sure that the money are right, and then he would have send the money across to Crab and all them things there, right? Now, understand this, as I said in the Scott Thomas video. Out of the 2 of them, people actually prefer to deal with Scott because Crab, well, he had one of those personalities and nobody never want to go around him, right? So now Scott have make all this money for the system, right? As I said in the Scott Thomas video, Tesha Miller loves Scott. Not only was Scott a youth who never said no to go up on any kind of murder apps, but he was now helping the system make a bag of money where you can, of course, you know what them do with the money, go buy more gun, buy more shot, and consolidate them power in a new areas and invade new areas. So the system was flourishing under the dealings were going over in Lariston. Now Crab, as I say, Crab in a Barrel, started to pre-Scott. And I said, well, how come Scott I send across X amount of money? I feel like say him make a whole heap more, but him only I send across this. Because you have to understand, Crab was the typical LEQ, right? If you've seen that video, you need to check it out. And LEQ will sit there and they will come up with theories in their head as to why you and them have a problem, as to why you want to do them something, why you are shortchange him, and they will make an enemy out of you even though you don't do them anything. See, all the money where them make, they should be happy. But remember that video? No amount of money cancels out low intelligence. Crab sit down there, and him start for pre-Scott, and he decides, you know what? He might get out Scott. But he had a major problem. The problem was, as I said, Scott was golden boy for Tesha. Scott was highly rated in the system. So if he was a solid normal 87, right, him could just do him feel like and just come up and look at that story and get.
Let me stop y'all right there. For my audience who's not Jamaican and don't understand really his lingo, a 87 is your typical hoodlum. Right? They base the levels of badness in Jamaica and gangster, I should say, in different categories, which would be gas octane, going by Jamaican numbers. So it's an 87 octane, 90s octane, and 110 octane. The difference between those 3 levels would be a regular normal 87 is the one that go around, pop off, do regular extortion, the regular, shit we accustomed to. And then the 90s octane would be the boss or the don in Jamaican terms that we telling them what to do. The one that run the gang, the one that run the area. He's the don. Yeah, but like I was saying, I was interrupted for a second. But the 90s octanes is the one that tell the 87s what to do. Basically the capo, the boss, you know what I mean, of the gang, you know what I mean? And then they have a 110 octane, which is like corporate criminals, blue collar criminals that don't never get caught, never get touched. You know what I'm saying? If shit go down, they never gonna get the short end of the stick. We know them in America, they pay fines and shit like that. Martha Stewart type people, you know what I'm saying? And so forth and so forth. But just break that down to y'all real quick.
What he knew, say, if him go do something to Scott, him go come under problem, and the same clansman system I will end up dashing him. So him couldn't go kill Scott. This is when Crab and the kerosene oil conspired. People, this is where we bring in the kerosene now, because as you know, we're on the kerosene series. So Scott had a girl, right? And as you can see on your screen, underlined, because over the years, the different newspapers have been reporting as they get different pieces of information and different pieces of statement, but I understand that it wouldn't make sense to certain people. But as you can see, underlined in red, Scott, his girlfriend, who was present at the home when he was killed, was not harmed. That girl, the night when they come to Scott, she sent away our youth, right? She sent away our youth to another relative, so that way only she and Scott with another house. The same Crab, a youth named Leroy, and another youth named Wormy, right? Remember that name Wormy, because you're going to hear it again. I'm going to show you how wicked people can really be, right? So remember that name Wormy. Them go for Scott. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, surely there was some kind of all-out gun battle between Scott and the man, because the man come for Scott. No, Scott didn't fire off a round, because remember, them did a pre-Scott, Scott never did a pre-them. Crab did have up Scott, but Scott never have up Crab. So leading up to Scott killing, the same man then come to Scott and use Sykes and borrow him gun. So them a go on ops, right? And them can't get to gun and them need Scott one. So Scott, thinking so well, I'm bridging them, I guess him have a certain amount of trust with them and something them regular do, but them lend man this and lend man that.
I hope y'all keeping up. So he basically said that, the man them want pre him, meaning that they want to hunt him, he don't want to hunt them. You feel me? And at the same time, they want to scheme on him, talking about, yo, we want to go on an axe me, a move. You know what I'm saying? Run down on somebody, whatever, and they ain't had no gun. So they took his hammer, to borrow his hammer, to actually disarm him before they, do what they want to do to him. Moving on.
So, in give them in gun, if they go on ops, they were disarming him. They disarmed him, and then the Crab and the man them go down there, go in upon them, the man them take off Scott's head. To this day, Scott's head has never been found. Right, the man them take it off, put it in a bucket, and gone with it. Left.
Gotta stop you again. He's speed talking. So for those who don't understand, bro, forgive me, but I'm just trying to get my audience, what they came for. I don't want nobody in the comments be like, yo, bro, what they said, bro, basically they chop boy head off. You know what I'm saying? Go in there, mash him up, unalive him, you know what I mean? And took his head off, put it in a bucket, and dipped off with his head. Like he said, to this day, they still don't know where boy head at.
Body in the house. So now, people start make noise. People run go down there. When them look, them see Scott, no head. But the kerosene was there. Oh boy. People want.
Y'all know what the kerosene is, right? Just like they have gasoline octanes, and they describe certain levels of the society of badness and gangster. They got a oil for the a certain type of gasoline oil for the women too. A kerosene oil, which is, you know what a kerosene is. When people light their little lanterns, they use kerosene oil to light it. Okay. Now, to describe that, it'd be the type of woman that would line up people for get robbed, murder. You know what I'm saying? She is like an alliance to every gang. Not, different women are alliance to different gangs, but she's an alliance to basically a certain particular gang that would do criminal acts like line you up, draw a man in and give you sexual acts. So, give you sexual acts as a decoy while they come in there to book you, rob you, bust your head, do whatever they want to do to you. You know what I mean?
Understand. Listen, think of this as an intermission. Go and sleep for your tea. Right? I can show you how people can be wicked and vindictive. So now the clansman them, who at the time, as I said, loved Scott. And there was no order sent down from Tisha or Hodges or none of them Monday to get rid of Scott. So everybody was stunned. They went to the kerosene and them asked her, what happened? She says, T Park man them, kick in the door, take off Scott's head and gone with it. Everybody was confused. You mean to tell we say, Chadiga Park man them get so brave. That's them go in a Laristan, kick off Scott door. A youth was one of the most feared youth in the area. Take off his head and gone. Just like that. People were confused. Even the clansman them never really accept it. When them look on the door, we get kick off, they must say, oh, this looks so. Something don't look right. People start to ask questions. Remember, this is Tesha's golden boy. The Don won't be pleased. He won't be pleased that something like this could have gone wrong. We need better answers. Kerosene oil. Tell the man them say, listen, yes, it's actually T Park man them, Chadiga Park. And when they see him Chadiga Park where the clansman them go take 8 people life the year before. Well, not only did she say that, when the man them start to question, okay, well, how T Park man them could have just know, say, first of all, a righteous as Scott there, how them get past this and get past that without nobody not seeing them? How them know which path we come through the yard? How them know some little details where you have to be familiar with the area and familiar with the yard to know how to get past certain things. You can go in and go out and nobody not see them. These are the questions the clansman them are asked. Remember, by this point, the kerosene I get a statement because she was there. The next question will I confuse the clansman them is, how comes you still alive?
That's what I was waiting for. Let me tell you something, cuz. If you see some goons come in and do something as gruesome as that, you think they gonna leave, huh? Come on, son. Anybody with a brain know that's a lineup. You understand me? While they sitting in the crib, I take off the money head, brother. You feel me? In the bedroom, living room, wherever it's taking place at. They take the head. She gotta walk out and see the beheaded body. You feel me? You Gucci. That's what I'm trying to show you. Look at the pure nature of evil, bro. In these situations, bro. You know what I mean? It's crazy how you can have a female do some shit like this. And to also think that, bro, people really stronger than they really are, bro. They'll do some shit to you, bro, and you would think that, nah, you won't do it like that to me. They would.
Chadiga Park man them, come in, go for Scott, you there the whole time and then just left you and gone?
Come on, man.
That sound very unlikely. That no sound like T Park man them, right? Surely them will get rid of you too. So questions start to ask.
Unless you lying.
Guess what she says? The reason why the man them could have known how to get in the yard is because Charmaine Rattray and her daughter Joyce Lynch, aka Crystal, give them the information and them set up the program. People, why would clansman accept this? See, about a year before, the same Scott Thomas, him and Sci-Fi did bring a youth in the area that did kill Joel Lynch's father. So you see, what the kerosene is trying to put in their mind is that, remember how Scott did play a role, even whenever him actually kill him, but that him bring the man come, him and Sci-Fi, to kill the girl's father. This was some kind of revenge. This was some kind of revenge because Crystal, trying to get back at Scott, helped T Park man them come in and do this, and she give them the information and tell them where to go and where them can come through. That right there made all the sense in the world to clansman.
Listen, bro. I got to break this one down if you didn't catch that. This little dumpy ratchet chick, the so-called girlfriend, So you gotta be careful who you're around. You know what I mean? Scott Littlehead led him to get beheaded. You feel me? Thinking he was a nice joint. This wifey, whoop, 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 I'm a girl, that dog, and you see where he at? Now, what I want to point out, the fact that the heat was on her so bad, because niggas know how niggas move. We ain't coming to dust off things and we leave you to be telling a story and all that. So why you still alive, shorty? This is what everybody want to know. Why you still here? Huh? So when she knows she about to get duppy herself, what she say? Two innocent people, neighbors, mainly referring to the daughter, that, oh, nah, you remember on last year, you know what I'm saying, when whoop, 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 and Scott and such brought Duke around, and you know what I mean, they end up bow-whopping her pops, they end up unaliving the father, huh? This is get back. She helped them get back in here to kill Scott for that. This is the excuse that the girlfriend is using to the clansmen on them for the explanation of why Scott Thomas is dead. Bro, wickedness at its. Not only did you get one man head beheaded, but you ain't done yet. You heard?
Plus, Crab, by this point, was now being as emotional, putting on an Oscar-winning performance.
Yo, my bad, bro. Forgot about this nigga Crab. Remember, this nigga Crab is part of the whole plan. And he got so much power, he could tell certain man, yo, I go for that boy there, I go for this person there, I go for that. You know what I mean? So he did acting too. While she lying, she bitch got to come up with an excuse. He like, this y'all good one, that word, y'all, I must with them. Yo, crazy, son. He part of the whole plan, because remember, he wanted to body Scott in the beginning.
We can't believe it. Whoever got killed about the boy them and who them take them a deal with, this can't go so. Crab was making Denzel Washington look like a rookie. Crab was making Clint Eastwood look like he never worked in a Hollywood game. Him and the Kerosene, Oscar-winning performance. And then when time they mentioned, say, oh, yes, a Scott and sci-fi did really help get out Crystal father. They saw a motive. They saw a motive. What happened next? Well, the same Crab, who by now, what me say was era leader, the same Crab, did it and no say at him program what happened to Scott, at him take off Scott in and gone with it. Tell the man him say, listen, the mother and the daughter has to be dealt with immediately. Immediately. Before I go into what happened to the daughters, let me give you a brief rundown as to who Joe F. Lynch was. That's the girl. This a former student of the Queen's High School. Now, everybody.
I want to say rest in peace to both of them. You understand me? To their families, condolences. Yeah, just wicked, man. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to these people, man. Definitely, man. You know what I mean? To Charmaine, Rattray, and, you know what I mean, Crystal Rattray. I don't know if I'm saying their name right. Forgive me. But rest in peace to both of them, because this is definitely not about clout but more awareness, because I don't talk about stories like this to get 1,000 clicks and all that. You know what I mean? I go to the ones that meant something to me, that touched me, and give it to y'all. You heard?
Referred to her as Crystal. She was a very bright student, right? And she had a very bright future. She did very well in her exams, passed up the whole of her subject then. But by this point, her father was gone, and her mother, who was unemployed at the time, really couldn't afford to look after her. Things got so rough for them that even though Crystal passed all her subject then and was entitled to a graduation, she could not attend the ceremony. She could not attend the ceremony because her mother couldn't afford it. A matter of fact, the same day where Charmaine Rattray and Crystal lost their lives, a relative had to carry some food to give to Charmaine because she called and told her that them have nothing to eat. Charmaine and her daughter, right, because as I said, the child was very talented, had a bright future. They applied for a student loan because guess what? Even though she lived in a highly acidic community like Lariston, even though she was surrounded by violence, death and destruction, Joyce Lynch had just been accepted into medical school at the University of the West Indies. Crystal was going to be one of those people who could show others that, listen, you can overcome. Despite the challenges, despite the surroundings, with the effort, dedication, of course, the intelligence, put your mind to it, keep your head down, keep moving forward, you can escape. She was going to be a living testimony. But of course, the kerosene oil and crab had other plans. People, let's go back to how the two of them lose their life. By now, the man them charged up. The man them start sharpening up them last. Start cleaning them weapons. And decide say, them a go back for Crystal and her mother. Crab was leading all of this as he continued to pour out his heart and act like say him can't believe say Charmaine Rattray and her daughter would have do something like this to Scott. But
the same nigga that started it, bruh. Mind you, these people, Crystal grew up with enough of them, you know. Enough of them that's about to go in there and do them like that. She grew up with them. The moms don't watch some of these little niggas grow from little kids to like a dirty little duppy back. You feel me?
to put this part in. See, there were people who were hearing the plans that them are go for Charmaine and Crystal. And people who know say Charmaine and Crystal never do nothing, right? And then they mix up in a foolishness and they could never be linking with a teapot man for carrying a teapot man go do Scott nothing. People know say a foolishness are going. So they started to tell Charmaine Rattray to leave. People were begging her to leave. She told everybody the same thing. She knew which God she served. And she never do nothing. So she not go anywhere. And
I gotta pause right there, bro. Forgive the jet noise. Bro, that's crazy, bro. You see, you can't have that mentality, bro. Talking about, yo, I know who God I serve, and I ain't never do nothing. Cause some people, that's why they call 87s. They're ignorant. Some of them can't. It's very few of them that have great IQs. You feel me? They not gonna sit down and say, yo, and figure this shit out and say, nah, this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So when they say people knew what was going on, bro, you understand me? We're regular people. That these little dummies, you know what I mean, Simple Simon with a gun can't figure out, yo, listen, that don't really make no sense. You know what I mean? Let's go talk back to that yalla, the girlfriend, and see why it really go on. You know what I mean? Cause that ain't sitting right. No. Come on, son. That's what I say. Some people just
said, well, even if she was to leave, where would she go? She not know if to go. The very same.
I'd rather walk and go sleep under a bridge or two till they really find out what's going on. You feel me? Cause these niggas psychos. They're sociopaths, psychos, man. Yeah, what they did to the man, they chop off the man.
Yeah, them lose them life. People who they spot them on them are sharpen them last. And I talk say what them gonna do them. Call the daughter now, because remember Charmaine Rattray said she know what she got to serve and she put her faith in the Lord. So people call the daughter and say, Crystal, only need to leave, the man them a come tonight. Crystal say her mother say she not going anywhere. She never do nothing. She believe in her faith. And as me say, them don't have anywhere to go. Anyway, in the night, the man them go in, Charmaine and her daughter. Charmaine Rashi immediately started to do what I guess come natural to her. She started to plead the blood of Jesus. She started to quote her Bible scriptures, and I guess she thought she could appeal to their rational side. She was telling them we didn't do anything. No way. No way. No fun, because remember, the same youth them I used to should have see walk around the community. I used to she would have noticed and she would have know. She'd have see them grow up from them a little boy till now. Her pleas, her cries, her reasoning, none of it had any effect. But who went on these cruel acts? Of course, you remember certain names, right? Because some of the names them be coming at the news, right? You remember the youth them like Fabian Smith, Russian Golson, Adrian Campbell. You remember the other youth, Sanjay, who ended up bust the case. But there were more of them. As a matter of fact, there were some youths outside who did a watch if police are come. Man did posted all over the place. As a matter of fact, check this out. Remember the Tradiga Park operation? Where I said there was a youth who went on the police, started put rounds on them and him realized how serious things get when man try to escape. Man wet up themselves. I'm talking about number 2. Brown stains everywhere. That was a youth named Christopher. He was on the outside a watch out if nobody will come and the police will come. That youth, he's in jail now doing life on a separate charge. Him never even get mentioned in this. No for the man them who take part in it, they never actually get punished. Right, so people only know the name them who the man who get sink. Right, as me say, Fabian Smith, Russian Golson and Adrian Campbell. Right, and I think down the road there was another youth who he was the only one who never plead guilty. His name was Riley. Right, Kemar Riley. But people, check this out now. Russian Golson. That youth right there was known to them. As me say, it's not like some strangers do it. Crystal start ball out and I beg Russian say, you know way. Only if you come to know way, a youth so honesty. Only know so when they mix up in them things. Well, the man then proceed. Forget the mother, Charmaine. The man them chop her 8 times. And then give her 6 shots. As for Crystal, despite all the bawling, all the begging, all the reason them try to reason the man them, so nothing to go so. Boy, I tell you. The man them proceed. He gave Crystal 8 chop as well. But she end up get 2 rounds in her head. Or sorry, she get 2 rounds and one of them was in her head. But that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough.
That was not enough. You heard what he said? That's why I said, bro, when you know you're in danger sometimes and you believe in a higher power, it's also up to you to protect yourself also. You know what I mean? And we gonna sidetrack for a minute. I was just watching The Godfather of Harlem, and I never known this to be true. Get in the comments and let me know if you knew this too. But did y'all know that Malcolm X had a 38 on him? Before he went out there on stage, the same Muslim that so-called tried to get him killed turned around and you know he you know came back on Malcolm's side, you know what I mean? Paid his deeds or whatever. Malcolm started fucking with him again. But he gave Malcolm a tray 8. You understand me? And Malcolm didn't even pull the gun, bro. It's like I seen in the movie, he reached for it, looked at his kids, and then, you know, like said, you know what I mean, fuck it, I'm gonna accept my fate. That's crazy, not boy. I'd rather kill you in front of my kids than let you kill me in front of my kids. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Or unalive you or whatever you guys say for YouTube. You understand me? But now play with people that we're religion. The same way you gotta You know what I mean? You gotta do certain things to protect yourself. They talking about they coming in, and they, you know what I mean? You know these people are psychos, bro. Get out of there. What you waiting on? You a civilian. You know what I'm saying? The higher power is the higher power, yes. You know what I'm saying? But you also got intelligence to know you gotta protect yourself, man.
We're talking about Klansman here. We're talking about a gang that, I repeat, should not even be classified as a gang. Far worse than that. The man them take off the woman them head. And afterwards, walk with it. Campbell, Adrian Campbell, he had to carry police, go show police them where him dash Crystal's head. It was recovered in a gully near the house. As for Charmaine Rattray, the mother, well, them find her head floating in the rear cobra couple days after. Yes, just floating down the river. But that's when people think about the scenery.
Innocent.
These were the things people over that side of Jamaica, beautiful, beautiful Jamaica, you know, land of wood and water. Tourism posters say, Irie man, no problem man. People see head afloat on top of water. But now let's take a closer look at the man them were involved. Because you heard Russian name and Adrian name. Russian was the one, right, who was doing the majority of the chopping. People, you will see underlined in red on your screen. This is the statement of the youth Sanjay, the one who bust the case. You can see where him say he was taken to the public hospital for treatment by one of the men who was in the house, who went by the alias Wormy. Wormy? Yes, the same Wormy who did Goffy Scott with Leroy and Crab is now in the house, a part of the killing. Even though him know for a fact, say him and Crab and Leroy Goffy Scott. Remember I told you this story is full of twists, turns and treachery. The same Wormy, him know, so the people are innocent and him in there. Him in there take part. The same Sanjay Yuta bust the case. He was related to Leroy that also took part in the Scott killing. People, I want you to understand, say the Sanjay Yuta bust the case is another perfect example of what I always say. It's not what you know, but what you can prove. Sanjay claims say he might go about him business and him hear noise, right? And when him go look, him just see him walk in and notice a Russian in there and chop up woman. And Russian swing the last and chop him on him hand. And then him run out back. And then him claim say all of this was just purely by chance. People, think about this for a second. Remember I said to you that there was people outside watching Kazaso clan stay. When I go upon them kind of mission, yeah, you have to have man outside and watch. This Sanjay youth, right? Sanjay Dukali, claim say him just walk past the man them outside where I watch guard, walk in a clansman slaying, get so close to Russian who was swing the last. That's him pick up a chop and then come back out and then the man them just make him leave.
Let's break it down for you real quick. Basically, people outside. He walking by, innocent bystander walking, got so close to them people using the cutlass or the machete that he get chopped. And was able to get chopped, that he got so close to Rasheen that he got chopped. And was able to run back out of the crime scene, get let go by the niggas outside to go to the hospital. This was his story to the police, cuz. I mean, is Jamaican police the dumbest police on the earth? What the
Now, anybody who believe Sanjay Dukali's story, you are the type of person I want to vote for my party, the Jamaica Unicorn Party. Because you must believe in unicorns, If you think this brother here walk in upon the man them brutal operation and then make him walk out and them come out, come ask him, not only ask him what go on, but then one of them carry him to hospital. A few more words, look on the screen. The worm was in the house, carry him to the hospital. See them go out the hospital in Port Maria. These are not my words. Who believe that? Who believe that? Well, guess what? Him bust the case. Him bust the case, not guilty. But you must have noticed throughout all these details I'm giving you, I haven't yet mentioned what happened to Crab and the kerosene. Well, people, guess what? The clansman them find out say Crab was lying. The clansman them find out say a Crab set up the whole thing. Him and him kerosene. So now, Crab and the girl runway gone down Olympic Garden side. Remember, people never even know say him and the girl in a things. So now the two of them runway. Because due to the heat and the pressure we come down upon clansman. Nevada Hodges say Crab and Leroon for dead. Hodges? Yes. You see, Tesha was the Don, but Hodges was a top man in a clans. Him could have give out them kind of orders there. You see, enough people went and them did originally say the general say Charmaine and Crystal for dead. People think that Tesha Miller. No, Tesha Miller never gave the orders for these ops. It was Crab. When them said the general, they were referring to Crab because over that side a Crab was for them boss. But Hodges was a bigger boss than Crab. And then Tesha was the ultimate Don. So Hodges say, no, that was a step too far. Crab really pull off a stunt like that. So now Crab is wanted by clansman. Clansman, I look for Crab. When you look on your screen and you see Jerome Crab Williams, the man believed by the police to be the mastermind and main perpetrator of the beheading of 3 people, including a woman and her daughter in Lariston. Look what I underline in red. The beheadings linked to Williams are that of 40-year-old Charmaine Rattray and daughter Joeth Lynch and their neighbor Scott Thomas. Start to see it now. We'll look at the article. December 7, 2011. By this point, we're talking way down the year now. Right? Way down the year. So the media was starting to get a better idea because more and more information was starting to come out as to what actually went down. But Crab wasn't done with his treachery. Remember the youth me tell us to help get rid of Scott Leroon? The same Crab killed Leroon, left me one car on the road. Because he was trying to appease the clansman them. And because remember, the man might take part in the Scott operation dead. Crab and Leroon. Wormy. So the same Crab get rid of Leroon. It wasn't enough. The man them still decide them want Crab because he was the mastermind. Right? So the man them set up Crab. Right? Then go film over Olympic Garden. They run a program on him. It was an entire van load of clansmen we go film. Remember, we are talking about Scott Thomas, Golden Boy, Tesha Miller. Said it before. Tesha, they have him mute them when they really, really rate. Scott Thomas was in Golden Boy. Demar was in Golden Boy. Right, enough of them. People. The van load of man them go for Crab. And when the man them catch up on Crab, and him start wet him up. Crab run go hide under one car. When I tell you that youth have the perfect name, Crab. Him run go squeeze himself underneath one car. The man them go under the car and start wet him from under the car and then them drag him out from under the vehicle and start wet him again. He got a brutal ending. Nothing less than he deserved. Clansman them say, listen,
Facts.
he had to go. He had to go and they had to make a statement. Wet him up. All kind of parts that hang out. I don't even want to get too grimy for YouTube will get sensitive. Right? But as you can imagine, one load of man, machine with him left, right and center. The man they mash up the crab. And as far as Hodges was concerned, Tisha was concerned, Clans was concerned, the people of Lariston were concerned, it was nothing less than crab deserved. So no, crab was gone. But you notice, when I hear say somebody else get take out another whole of this, it was the kerosene. You see, out of all of the name them when we mention, the man them either in a jail or them under the ground, 6 feet. Guess who is still walking up and down on the road today? Guess who is probably lying down beside some very lucky guy right now, right? Probably even listening to this video as we speak. The kerosene. You see, it was her testimony that convinced the clansman them, say Charmaine, Rattray, and Crystal were the people them who helped T-Park man them carry out the killing. Because at first the story never make sense. But because them a look upon it from the angle say, but a Scott woman, surely Scott woman wouldn't have no real reason to go not help them solve Scott's murder. Plus when them got here say, Rotted, no Scott them did help get out our father. They had a motive. But you might have missed something we mentioned. When she say, a T-Park man them kick out the door and go in there go take off Scott head and gone with it. Even though clans did already go launch them brutal operation on Chadiga Park, the man them start make all kind of step over T-Park. Remember, you know, a T-Park man them do this to Scott. So you see, up until the point where them find out say a crab set it up.
Mad people was dying.
Up until that point, the amount of people would lose them life over T-Park.
Crazy.
Over the actions of crab and the testimony of the kerosene. Enough innocent people lost their lives.
Wow, boy.
People who have nothing to do with the start killing. People who never even set foot in a Lariston. Clansman and go over there. Take old people casually because by now, man them have blood in their eyes and them look with vengeance and man say, well, go back for man, we go do this and go back, go do that. Man them, they'll go wet you up at that time because they were heated over what happened to Scott. A testimony of a kerosene. A kerosene that suffered no consequences. But as you know, the kerosene oil is an agent of death and destruction.
Facts.
Enough people have to run away from Lariston after what them see happened to Crystal and her mother. Because people were under the impression, enough people did think, so well, you know what? If we don't mix up in a nothing, then we alright. But when them see what happened to Crystal and her mother, enough people have to pack up them things and left. Because them realize, say, clansman is not a gang where you can reason with. And the level of treachery inside the gang was so serious that even when time the man them appear to be on good terms, they set up each other, take each other's life, and then turn around and blame innocent people. There's a reason why I focus on this gang so much. This is not an ordinary organization. If you listen to my T-Park video, my Chadiga Park video, you'd have heard me say, when people tell me say, them rate clansman, I know say them a pretender because people who were a part of clansman no rate clansman. Clansman will tell you that when it comes down to sell out, betray, turn pan friend, cutthroat thing, clansman was number one. Ultimate friend killers. But one thing when them kill each other, you see, the whole cut off head thing and fling my head thing, it was not new. It was not new. But most times, it was man who was involved in a thing. So when it happened to 87, enough people in the community say, well, in the mix up in a badness, it was 87, he was gone. Enough people say, you know what? We didn't know about that, nothing. But for this case, when people see what happened to Crystal and her mother, even people who were normally standoffish and say, listen, I turn the blind eye, even them people have to say, yo, we have to make the call. We have to make the call. People were stunned. You see, Crab and the Kerosene robbed Jamaica. They robbed Jamaica of a woman, right, Charmaine Rattray, big woman. But you see that little girl, Crystal, they robbed the nation of a bright spark. A spark that we could have used to show to others that it's possible. Because I one thing to tell people, say, listen, not because you come from Lariston, not because you come from Flankers, not because you come from South Spring, you can rise above it. But you need, if you can show real life examples, you need if you can call name and say, so when somebody say, really like who? Then they can say, well, Joe Lynch. You see, the Kerosene and Crab in a Barrel robbed Jamaica of that story. Accepted into medical school. Student loan borrow. Accept our application. The girl was going to start medical school. From the violence of Lariston, we would have here say it produced Dr. Joe Lynch. I like the sound of that. Dr. Lynch, you're on call. That's what we should be hearing. But instead, we're talking about the people, two women losing not just their lives, but literally their heads. This case is one of the examples, apart from the Sanjay youth, that was the case. This is one of the cases where I have to commend the DPP, Paula Lewin and our team. They did an extraordinary job considering the circumstances. Normally, them cases just get forgotten. The DPP and the police, in my opinion, there's no middle ground. There's either cases where I just complete joke thing, complete Mickey Mouse thing, and cases where you're thinking that is absolutely brilliant. There's no middle ground. This is one of those cases. Brilliant work by the DPP and our team and the police in solving this case. Even though they may get all of the man them, but here's the thing, people. You see the man them who never get catch on this, them end up get catch on other things who not dead in jail. As I said, the Christopher youth will watch out on the outside. He may not get life for another charge. Wormy, him that jail for another charge. Right. I think literally only the Sanjay youth is the only one who get pay. Right, you probably listen to this video right now. Don't worry yourself, youth. Every dog of them day, you get off of the case, but I'm sure your one will come to you. People, when I said to you that the Klansman trial coming up with the 50 man them, Jamaica cannot afford with them 50 man they go back on the road. Yes.
Cheer. You already know, man. That's the story of, you know what I mean, Charmaine and Crystal Rattins, you know what I mean? Or Rattray. I don't know how to say their name properly, forgive me. Oh yeah, Charmaine and Crystal Rattray. You feel me? So, rest in peace to them. You know what I mean? More condolences go out to their family. This story was just wild, man. I hope y'all enjoyed the joint. You know what I mean? Anybody from that side of Jamaica, remember that. You can tap into the comments. You know what I mean? Speak your part, man, on how you feel on it, man. It's a sad situation, man, and it's just a shame to see this is how people really got this type of hate in their heart, man, to do this type of shit to people, man. Just off of what some devilish person say, and for Crab and Wormy and all them people, bro, y'all different, bro. You know what I'm saying? You sit there and concoct a whole plan to kill innocent people over and over. Not it was not even to Scott. You know what I mean? Scott was the initial target. But then you end up killing the two people. Then you went to Tunisia Park or Tree, or what is it? Tree Park, one of them. and go over there, and you gotta believe in your right mind. T Park mind them, or what he said, yeah, that you gotta go over there, believe in your right mind them, that in your right mind that they going over there busting it up on them man every minute. And then them people come back busting it up on them, or find some innocent people over there, you know what I'm saying? And then, come on, bro, it's ongoing foolishness. Off of what? Treacherous, toxic, bad-minded people. It's the same thing that happened to Lil Scooter. What's the difference? The chick is a hater, right? She hating, turn around, get mad, call police, emphasize 50,000 different times. You got a baby, she bleeding out the head, or they dragging her outside. Oh, I think they're running sex trafficking, and 7 of them, they all got guns. Over and over, this bitch went in. Anybody with common brains know why she did that. Because you know they're going to come with full force aggression. Either they come in there to kick off the doors. You tell them they got guns, they out there beating, but you want them to come in there and start booming. You know that. Because they're already, police is like a gang themselves, bro. You know what I mean? If you want to keep it G. They're a gang, bro. And when they hear that, the ops is outside and they slipping and, they got the drop, meaning that, who's the ops? The criminals. You know what I mean? You outside doing some bullshit. They're like, yeah, whoop, 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 he got a gun in his hand. Because they coming to smoke you. It's police that wake up every day, bro, looking to catch a body. The adrenaline rush is the same for them, like gangbangers and so forth, bro. So don't be fooled. You know what I'm saying? Women, bro. Be careful with them, bro. I mean, it's Lifeswildtv, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like I said, content coming back to back. Don't even sleep, bro. You heard? Keep your eyes peeled, because we coming with it, man. One hand wash the other and both wash the face, you know?